Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you for inviting me to this session. When I was told that I have to give you tips on the finance side of getting married, I understand some of you are married and some of you are not married, right? So I hope it will apply to both sets of audience here. So what I've done is I've actually thought of, I only have 20 minutes, so I thought about 3 essential financial financial hacks. I need to say that these are, to me, the 3 most important things if you're getting married or if you're married to actually understand and hopefully, inshallah, adopt in your marriage life. Okay. Reasons for divorce. I came across this on the internet. Basically, in the US, and I don't know whether you can see the top part. I didn't know this, but they actually have certified divorce financial analysts. There's actually a professional certification for such a position. They did this survey with this group of analysts, and they found out that actually when these people, they meet people who are going to have divorce, and they will actually go and advise them on the finances and stuff. And it turns out that 43% of the reason for getting a divorce is basic incompatibility. 28% is infidelity and sexual issues, and 22%, the third largest one, is money issues. And I would be surprised that if you actually could find subsets, or rather things in the basic incompatibility or even in the infidelities part which are related to money issues. Because a lot of things actually, in fact, there are other surveys which actually put money issues at the top. And one of them is, another thing I found on the website, which is I think very true. If you look at the top 10 financial facts of why people actually get divorced, money is the #1 case for stress. Money is the #1 case for divorce. Like I said, a lot of these things will sound very familiar, especially of those of you who are married and then you face these kind of things sometimes as a household. The average American earns less than 30,000. They have credit card debt. They misspend. They don't have a budget. They live paycheck to paycheck. Before bulan really your money is gone. They spend more than they earn, and they have less than 1% of savings. So I think very common kind of challenges, not only the Americans face, but basically I think everybody everywhere in the world. Okay? So how do we actually overcome some of this? I hope that the next few slides will help you, give you a foundation of what I think is very important. Okay. So, hack #1, set the model to avoid a earful or silent treatment. Coming from someone who's married, if you don't set the model at the very beginning, as in terms of finance, be prepared for a earful, because the wife will keep on giving you a earful every time you do something financially wrong. She'll make sure that you remember it for the rest of your life. For the men pula, when they are angry or when the wife does something, come back home with a Prada bag or whatever the case is on your credit card, then you will keep silent forever, and then she's like, "Abang, anything wrong or not?" "No, everything's fine." "Are you sure?" "Yeah, nothing. So basically, to avoid these kind of things, you basically need to do this. You really need to set the financial model that both you as a husband and wife will adhere to. The financial model #1 is, you have to decide at the very beginning, is it going to be a financial relationship that is basically you, me. You handle yourself, your finances, I handle myself, my finances, because basically sometimes we have our own lifestyle. I'm a little bit more, right? I like my bikes, I like my car, so if I spend on my car, don't say anything because it's me. If you spend on your stuff, I'm not going to say anything because it's you. So you need to set that at the very beginning, so everybody's clear about it, rather than halfway through the relationship you'll be saying but I believe a 70 interim that kind of thing, So basically you need to set that. And that's when you have your own lifestyle. And the second model is you and me model. This is where you come together, you find that actually both of you share the same goals, the same aspiration financially. You also like 17 rims, yeah, I also like 17 rims, you know. You like Prada, I also like Prada, you know, that kind of thing. So you share the same goals, and I have friends who have that kind of lifestyle. I have my wife's friend actually have this blog, which is called Singapore Minimalist Blog. They live very minimal. You know, the house is, not to say kosong, but the house is, they don't have really extravagant stuff and things like that. You know, I told my wife, I cannot. Don't go down that road. Don't even think about it. You know, I like my TV a little bit bigger so I can see better. I can, you know, hear the sound and start moving. You know, but if you have a wife and husband who are in tune, then why not? Then you have one lifestyle. Then you understand each other, and then you say, okay, now mind, we are happy with this kind of lifestyle. Then you go together, and then you understand one another. The third model is the only me model. The only me model basically is my money is my money, your money is my money. Which is basically sometimes what the guys will get to know when you get married, you may come across this situation. You know, when your wife says, you know, whatever you earn is mine, whatever I earn, I keep myself. And that's where the guys have no life and no style. So no lifestyle. Okay. Is it wrong? No. I have friends who do that and they're very successful because why? They know themselves, you know, I can't handle the money, or, you know, I just want to give my wife the money and she just gives me a couple of hundred or 1,000, whatever, and I'll use that. I'm very happy. Whatever makes my wife happy makes me happy. Fine. Okay. But what I'm trying to say is you need to really communicate at the very, very beginning to understand what type of model you're going to adopt. Because once you understand that and both parties understand that, then you have very little friction going forward. If not, you have a lot of friction. Okay? So lack of communication is really a major problem in marriage. Financial conversations are very awkward. You know, we don't tend. When was the last time you spoke to your partner, whether you're married or not married, about finance? You know, spending and stuff like that. So it's an awkward topic. You know? But you need to really open up and set this early foundation correct. And whichever lifestyle you choose, whether it's your own lifestyle, one lifestyle, no life, no style, okay, basically you need to adhere to and incorporate the Islamic values in it. Yeah, things like, you know, what with riba, with debt, investing in Sharia compliant instruments and stuff. So whatever you choose doesn't mean me is non-Islamic. No, Islam says you can, except that you just don't go to the extreme. Yeah, so basically all these things are very Islamic in nature. Hack number 2, be in control, not be controlled. Okay. I'm not referring to the guy today. This is referring to finance. Okay, the single most important principle to me, I'm an economist. I also have a CFP, which is a Certified Financial Planner. I'm a professional in terms of advising on finance. To me, the single most important principle in determining whether you succeed financially in life, and I'm very honest with this, okay, is what we call financial stability. And what is financial stability? Financial stability very basically means you actually spend every single month of your life, okay, less than you earn. So basically you earn more than you spend, and then the other way around. Okay, if you do that, I can guarantee you would be in probably the top 5 to 10% of the population in the whole wide world which is doing their finances correctly compared to the other 90%. Because many people here don't do this. But this is the most basic foundation in order to have what we call a stable financial situation at home. Okay? Because when you spend less than you earn, what happens? You have money in your hands every month because you earn 3,000, you spend 2,005. At the end, you have $500 in your hand extra, correct? That gives you control. When, you know, the set of questions that you ask when you have $500 in your hand is totally different from the set of questions you ask when you don't have $500 in your hand and rather you spend extra $500 above of what you earn. The questions that you ask when you have $500 in your hands are, where do I invest this $500? Can I pay off some of my debts when I have this additional $500? What can I can do so many things. I want to go on a holiday so no one can stop me because I've got $500 in my hand. You see the control that you have? But when you don't have the $500 and worse still, you overspend $500 every month, that means you dah utang orang 500 or something like that, you don't ask these questions, then the questions will be a totally different set of questions. It will be, do I have enough savings to actually pay for what I just overspent? where do I get my money to pay all my debts? Hey, I want to go on holiday but cannot because my children want to go on holiday. I'm sorry, Anak, I can't bring you because I don't have enough money. You see, it's different. So when I say be in control means you have to have money in your hand, i.e. have what we call a positive balance every month to be in control. Otherwise, you're not. Okay? And I say this with all in a very serious manner. This is it. The very single thing that I think will mean and change everybody's life. I think I'm controlling this. Seems to be a lag. Okay. So the biggest challenge is non-adherence. Sani, I understand every month I have to have a positive balance and stuff like that. But then throughout the month, I've got something I want to buy, additional stuff I want to spend on, and this and that. So adhering to this principle is actually the hardest thing. Understanding it is not. Every month I have to earn more than I spend. But adhering to it. Okay. So what you actually need to do, in my view, is to set up a framework. Yeah, a framework as to why is the thing coming out so fast? Oh, it's controlled by someone, is it? Oh, okay. So I don't have control. Do I have control over this? No. Okay, never mind. I'll let you know when to switch and when to go to the next one. Okay. So set up a framework to ensure adherence. Okay. You have to prioritize spending. You need to say that most of us do the biggest mistake is this. Our monthly income comes in, we spend on what we think we want. Then whatever's balance we use to pay our bills, and then whatever's balance after that we save. The only problem is by the time it reaches at the bottom of the waterfall, there's nothing left there. Yeah? And maybe even halfway through paying the bills, there's nothing left. Okay? I'll put up who's controlling the thing behind. Okay. Hello there. I'll just put up something like this and change the slide. Okay. So we need to change it into like a monthly income. You need to first, remember I said every month you have to have this positive balance, $500, whatever the case is. That's the one that you save now. Okay, you save that first. Okay. How much you save depends. If you're the type who actually you want to live the life, means to say you don't want to stinge too much, you want to enjoy life and stuff, just save 10%, fine. As long as you save something. Okay. If you think you want to have a moderate life, then you save 20 to 30%. If you think you want to have what we call, like my wife's friend, the minimalists, they save up to 50% of whatever they earn. And you may say, wow, like that, how to live like that? But let me tell you, today, that guy is 40 years old, he's retired. He said, I don't have to work. Whatever I saved throughout my beginning, and he's had this mindset since the beginning. When first day I came out to work, my first salary I already saved 50%. Okay, while all my other friends went to do their usual jolly stuff, this and that. So today he's 40 years old. He said, I can retire every month. The assets that I bought generates enough for me, 3,000-4,000 a month. Okay, and I can live on that, no problem, because I've been living minimally for the past 20 years. So I can continue to live with my wife. She understands me and she agrees with this for the rest of my life with this income. So, and we can't be jealous of that. I told my wife, because why we choose the lifestyle that we want. Because he made the sacrifice from the start. Come out to work, save 50. I asked you, can you come out to work and save 50? Correct. But if you wanted to, the rewards is, by the time you're 40, you can retire. So you see, there's sacrifices to be made. So it's a choice. It's not to say he is right, I'm wrong, and so on and so forth. It's really a personal choice. So you need to understand what your choices are in order to make the right decision. Okay? Then pay your bills, your installments, your loans, your nafkah, your parents, your infra, and stuff like that. You need to pay those. Then what's left? That's the money that you actually use for jolly and whatever you want, your rims, your bags and stuff like that. That doesn't come on top. That comes at the end. You really need to settle all these things first. Then that's the money that you actually keep. Okay? Next slide, please. So, hack number 3. Prepay, pay more, pay cash. Okay? Prepay your monthly bills and installment. Those of you, I'm asking you now, when do you pay your bills? When you get your bills, when you get your statement, correct? I'm telling you, don't. I'm telling you, pay your bills way ahead before you get your bills. When you get your salary on the 31st of December, 31st of the month, 30th of the month, make sure you pay your bills on the 1st and 2nd. but the bill hasn't come, why should I pay? Because it's going to come. It will be coming on the second week, on the third week, on the fourth week. And guess what happens when the bill comes on the third week? Buka surat, tengok, kena bayar ni lah installment 300. Duit mana lah? Duit pergi mana lah? Correct or not? Because the salary comes in on the 31st. And by the time the third week of the month, you've used up everything. And yet you have these bills, month in, month out, definitely coming because you have to pay them. So if you hadn't set aside the money, then you're in trouble. Okay? So basically, my advice is actually, coming to, let's say, for example, the 30th, 31st, when you get your salary, what you do is, do the gyros, do the standing order, standing instruction. You know you're going to pay utility 200. Don't wait for the bill to come in. Do a standing order into the Sing Power utility on the 1st of the month. Why? Then you don't have to worry about the bill anymore. When the bill comes, actually it's kosong already because you already prepaid the bill. Yeah? So that's the way to go. So for my case, I have 100% coming in on every month. By the 3rd, 4th or 5th of the month, I tell you, I'm like the poorest person in Singapore. I only have left 30%. And I have to survive for the rest of the month with that 30% of my salary that's left after paying everything. And I'll show you an example. Next slide. Okay, stop there. I don't know if you can see the date there on the box. So that's my latest salary that came into my account. That's on the 30th or 31st. Okay, so salary comes in on 30th, 31st. Next two, yeah, correct. And those are the outflows from my own account on the 1st and on the 2nd. Of course, today's the 3rd. I haven't, they haven't even deducted for the 3rd, but this was last 2 days. And you can see all those circles there. They are SI, standing instruction, transfers, and so on and so forth. So that's why I'm saying whatever money that comes in from my salary goes out almost immediately. So I can't even touch the money because it's not there anymore. So this actually helps in terms of setting up a framework whereby you don't end up thinking that you have a lot of money because it's just in your bank account. Because there are bills to be paid for the rest of the month. So just set it aside first, let it pay by itself, and I'll show you later. Next slide, please. What I mean by this. I stay in a condominium at Bukit Gombak. It's called Guilin View. Every quarter, it is about 250 or 300, 270 to about 300 every quarter. So this first box here, 672 and 159, that's the maintenance and the sinking, which comes up to 850. That's for 3 months. So they'll charge you every 3 months, not every month. Every 3 months they'll send this bill to you, and prior to this I was receiving every 3 months. Wow, I have to fork out 800. Wow, I have to fork out 800. So what I did was I actually now prepay. Next. That's coming out from my account every month. 350, 350, 350, 350. So what happens is, even before they ask me, I pay first. Because every month I get salary, I pay. I get salary, I pay. I pay. I get salary. So this is the latest bill that came to me, and look at the total amount due at the bottom there. 0. Because why? Because every month I have to actually use my money to salary to pay it first. Because when the bill comes, I tell you, you'll be looking around like I used to look around last time. Wow, where to find? That 350, that the 3 months that you ought to have used to pay, you have used it already for some other reason because you thought you had money. Yeah, but you don't have. And it's the same for those of you who drive. You know, the worst period for a driver is when? Road tax renewal, insurance renewal. Sakit. Yeah, it comes like 1,000, and then you're like, where do I get the money from? Same thing. You can do this for the car. Prepay, put into a different account first. When the thing comes, then you have money, okay, to pay off. Okay, so things like that are very important. Next one. Pay more your needs. Understandably, some things that we have in our lives is a need. We need to take a loan to buy a house because we don't have money to pay cash. We need to take a loan to sometimes pay for our studies because we don't have that 10, 20,000 to pay for our studies, whatever the case is. Okay. When you have a fixed installment to pay, do not just pay the installment amount that they tell you. If they say, okay, with this 30-year loan, with this 10-year loan, you're supposed to pay 500 a month. Don't. Pay 600. Pay more. Pay 10, 20, 30% more. So 500, if you add an additional 100, it's a 20% increase, so you pay 20% more. Why? It helps to bring it down so much faster. It helps. You're using your money also to bring down your debt. If not, that I tell you that $100 don't go away, man. You'll probably be in, used for some other reasons and so on and so forth. Okay, so discipline yourself. Second one is when you have loans which are not end dated, i.e. credit card debt. Credit card debt that has no end date. Credit card debt just rolls over and rolls over. So when you have a situation like that, and they will normally say pay the minimum 3%, don't pay 3%, pay more than that. Okay? Or even pay a fixed amount. 3%, and this example here, 3% of a $10,000 debt is $300. Okay? If you just pay 3%, 3%, 3%, 3%, the amount that you pay will actually decrease from 300 to 297 to 296. Why? Because the principal amount also decreased. But look at the blue line. By the time it's month 36, your debt will still be 3660. However, if you are smart enough to keep it at 300, not a percentage, but at 300, 300, 300, 300, the debt goes to zero in month 36. Because there are certain months, 3% is only $200, but you're still paying 300. In certain months, the debt is only 195, but you're paying 300. So it goes down much faster. Don't be influenced by the bank. Don't worry, not just pay minimum. In the statements that pay minimum can already. No. Pay more than that. Okay. And next slide. Lastly, pay cash your wants. We're talking about your needs just now, your wants. Your wants are typically smaller stuff. I nak ni lah, I nak tu lah, and stuff like that. Okay? And most of the time, the problem is we pay our wants with credit, with debt. No. Use cash to pay your wants. Okay? Don't use credit cards because credit cards, they lure you to get used to debt, which is I don't think is a good thing. Okay? Pay by cash. Save up. I have friends who they want to go on holiday, they save before they go on holiday. Go Korea, they save up. Go Umrah, they save up. They do this, they save up and stuff. It's not as easy as let me use my credit line. Pay for that line, guna credit card, swipe dulu. Tak apalah balik, bayar. No. So you need to move away from that. The cost of instant gratification is very expensive. If I were to ask you today, think of something that you want. Not big lah, small things. Okay. Think of an item. If I were to say, you could buy this item, today for 80% more, or you could buy this item in 6 months' time for the price it is. Do you get me? You want today, can, but you pay 80% more. If not, you wait 6 months' time, you get it at the original price. What would you say? Wait or take or buy? Wait or buy? Wait. Naturally, we will say wait. Okay? But when it comes to things like this, let's assume this is a computer that you want. The ad comes out in the paper, 1099. Next, please. 1099. If you pay cash, 1099. In the small little below there, it says next. 4-year installments. You want, can. All you have to do is $10.33 per week. $4 and 4 weeks and 48 months. It's 1983. So if you take a 4-year installment on this, you are paying 1983 instead of 1099. Next, please. Which is an 80% more increase than the original price. Because go back, whenever you see this kind of advertisement, what you do is take out your calculator, compare the installment total price with that of the original price. It will always be 20% more based on the years of installment. That means if the installment is 4 years, it's 4 times 20, 80% more. If the years of installment is 7 years, it's 7 times 20, 140% more. It's a fixed formula, that's what they do. Okay, so basically, what you should be doing is, next, if you save $200 a month, which is not a lot of money, you could save it if you make a bit of effort. After 6 months, you just get it at the cash price. Okay? So don't be real. We are living in a world today which I feel makes that something of a normality. it shouldn't be the case, especially for Muslims like us, where our religion says, don't go in debt, only out of necessity. If it's not necessity, don't. So we have to make the effort to actually move away from this. Okay. So again, I think I'm done. Next. Also remember, yeah. Okay. So remember, the 3 hacks is, when you get married, or if you're married and you haven't done it, please set what we call the model so that you don't fight very often. Next. Be in control. The most important principle, always have that balance at the end of the month so that you actually are in control and you're not in desperation, finding money and so on and so forth. And thirdly, prepay, pay more, and pay cash. Thank you.